Attention passionate Chicago, Bears fans. Latest news, something big is happening in the NFC North and it could change the game. We're talking about a direct impact on Chicago Bears' path to another Super Bowl run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true Chicago Bears fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with your friends and Chicago Bears fans. Let's get to the news. The NFL offseason is always buzzing, but right now, there's one move that's catching everyone's attention: the potential trade involving Jeffrey Simmons from the Tennessee Titans to the Chicago Bears. And let me tell you, this isn't just any trade. It could be a game-changer for the Bears' defense, especially on the interior line, and could significantly shift the balance of power in the NFC North. So, what's all the fuss about? Well, the Titans, who finished last season with a disappointing 5-11 record, are reportedly shopping Simmons. And it makes a lot of sense if you look at the bigger picture. Tennessee has been in a bit of a rebuild mode, especially after they've been trying to manage a cap that's been tight, and their defense hasn't quite lived up to the expectations in recent years. They're reportedly willing to send Simmons, a dominant defensive tackle who's still in his prime, to Chicago in exchange for a second-round pick in 2026 and a fourth-round pick in 2027, along with managing around $22 million in cap space. That's a strategic move for the Titans, who are trying to reset and focus on building a younger roster. Now, for the Bears, this could be a perfect storm. Simmons, who's been a force to reckon with in Nashville, would be a huge addition to their defensive front. Imagine him lining up alongside Gervon Dexter, a young, promising interior defender, and transforming the middle of that defensive line. Simmons is a true disruptor. He's not just about stuffing the run, but he's also a relentless pass rusher from the interior. Over his career, he's racked up 65 sacks, which is impressive for a defensive tackle, and has accumulated over 320 tackles with 14 forced fumbles. His PFF grade of 95 speaks volumes about his consistency and dominance on the field. In 2025, Simmons put up some eye-popping numbers: 11 sacks, 23 tackles for loss, 36 QB hits, and 55 total tackles. Even with an ankle injury that limited him to 14 games, he was still producing at a high level, echoing his 2024 performance where he recorded 5 sacks. That kind of production makes him one of the premier disruptors in the league, much like a young Chris Jones, with a plus 19% win rate against double teams and a low YAC allowed on tackles, which means he's not just getting to the quarterback but also setting the tone against the run. His EPA per snap at -0.36 is solid, and he's especially good at forcing negative plays, which is exactly what the Bears need to bolster their interior defense. Why would Tennessee trade Simmons? Well, they're giving up a lot of points. They were allowing 8 points per game last season, which is too high for a team with their aspirations. They've prioritized offensive line extensions and acquiring wide receivers, but their defensive line has been a work in progress. They've already had to deal with 50 sacks allowed on their offensive line, which shows where their priorities are shifting. The trade also makes sense from a cap perspective, freeing up roughly $25 million in 2026, giving the Titans flexibility to rebuild or pursue other pieces. For the Bears, adding Simmons isn't just about plugging a hole. It's about transforming their entire interior defensive line. Historically, Chicago has struggled with run defense, especially pre-draft in 2025, where they were giving up an average of 145 yards per game on the ground. Simmons would be a huge upgrade, helping to reduce those numbers significantly. When you pair him with Dexter, the Bears could project a defense that's capable of holding opponents to a mere 120 yards on the ground per game, while also generating more interior pressure, potentially adding around 15 sacks from the middle. That's a game changer. What makes Simmons so special is his ability to generate mismatches. Against centers, he's a nightmare. His +1. 9 tackles for loss per game, and his ability to force double teams open opportunities for the linebackers and edge rushers. His last season's stats, including 9 forced fumbles, show a player who's not just about stats, but about creating chaos on every snap. His presence would also complement the Bears' front seven, which, statistically, has shown a plus 16% increase in efficiency when Simmons is on the field. That aligns with the improvements Chicago's defense has been striving for, aiming to reclaim that top 10 run defense status they had back in 2018, when they were one of the league's most feared units. And let's not forget the implications on the Super Bowl odds. Simmons' addition could be a huge boost for Chicago. His presence alone dramatically improves the team's chances, pushing their odds from plus 4,000 to plus 2,400, a 40% increase in their Super Bowl shot. It's reminiscent of what the Bucs experienced after acquiring V, a real game-changer in the trenches. Simmons' ability to cut through interior blocking and disrupt the quarterback's rhythm will translate into more wins, more pressure on opposing offenses, and ultimately, a more competitive Bears team that can contend deep into January. So what's the bigger picture here? Well, adding a player like Simmons isn't just about one season. It's about setting the foundation for a Bears team that's aiming for sustained success. With a dynamic, disruptive interior presence, they can better control the line of scrimmage, limit the run game of their NFC North rivals, and create more opportunities for their pass rushers to get after the quarterback. This move could also free up resources to pursue other key pieces in the draft or free agency, giving Chicago a more flexible approach to building around Justin Fields and the rest of their core. Of course, there are skeptics. Some might worry about giving up a second-round pick, especially in a draft class loaded with talent. Others might question whether Simmons' injury history and ankle limitations could impact his long-term productivity. But the upside is massive. A healthy Simmons, paired with Dexter and a revamped defensive scheme, could turn the Bears into a nightmare for offenses like the Lions, Vikings, and Packers. It's a bold, aggressive move that signals the Bears are serious about competing now, not just building for the future. Imagine the energy that Simmons could bring to Soldier Field. The roar of the crowd when he makes a big play, the way he commands double teams in the trenches, that's the kind of presence Chicago has been craving for years. And with the NFC North poised for a shakeup, especially if the Lions and Vikings are still trying to find their footing, the Bears could take that leap into serious playoff contention with a dominant interior defense. And now, Chicago Bears fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on this potential blockbuster trade? Do you believe Simmons is the missing piece that could push this defense into the top tier? Or do you think the cost is too high for a player with injury concerns? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinion matters so much to us and to the Chicago Bears. And don't forget, I'll be back soon with more updates, so stay tuned for the latest Chicago Bears news.